Welcome to this short video about Sani Peyarchi or Saturn transit as per Tamil Vedic astrology and its effects on Rishaba Rasi. There are several dozens and if not hundreds of videos currently about the oncoming Saturn transit, which happens mid-December 2017. Saturn leaves the sign of Scorpio and enters Dhanush, and as it enters Sagittarius, it has several effects across various rashis, but the most debilitating effect it will have is on Rishaba Rasi. So perhaps the only video I'm making is for Rishaba Rasi. Other astrologers have put in videos about Rishaba Rasi and the effect Saturn is going to have on it, but they have moderated it. They have not said things as they are, particularly because they don't want to frighten the next 3-year prospects for the natives of Rishaba Rasi. But I think it is incumbent on me to give fair warning on events which are forthcoming so that they could be avoided, moderated, and escaped by prudent choices. So if you are a Rishaba Rasi person, you must be aware that you will be going through what will be called the Ashtama Sani. So you will have the 8th aspect of Shani. From your moon sign, if you were to count the houses, Shani is now on the 8th house. 8th house represents usually restrictions and great changes. It doesn't affect the life of a person, meaning there's no threat to life. In fact, it strengthens the health and increases the longevity of the person. But every other aspect in your life will undergo severe tests. So let us look at it part by part. Though the effect is supposed to start in December, Saturn would have already started showing signs that it has arrived in your horoscope. Many of the Rishaba Rasi natives would have already got affected by small injuries in the leg. It could even be a sprain, an ankle twist, a slip and a fall, some more severe than others. I have a few Rishaba Rasi people who came to me after having falls which affected even their spine. But rest assured that these effects are only temporary. This is like a visiting card. Rishaba Rasi should be aware that now things are going to be set up as a great examination for you. What Saturn would do in the first 1 year is that it will bring about a lot of temptations and opportunities which are out of the ordinary. So you must be very aware and keep yourself in guard for such events which will come to pass. For example, if you are a businessman, business opportunities out of the ordinary would be presented to you. If you are a realtor and you normally are very cautious and you take advice of your auditors and advocates before purchase, this time a hurried proposal will come, perhaps even through a friend, with an opportunity like to double or triple your money. A distressed property would come to you and you should not purchase it without the usual caution. Similarly, money laundering opportunities, financial opportunities will be presented to you as if it's a quick money making scheme. Since it is not your usual business type, you should refrain from taking into these temptations right now. The next 3 years would present you with not only business opportunities but also other social opportunities. And if opportunities are given to join clubs, new religious practices, ashrams, you should be very careful. Go ahead and continue to do your routine things. Work in your job, continue with your business, investments, and dilutions. Continue with your present club and associations and hobbies and travel patterns, but do not start something new and unusual. So, in the first 1 year, apart from business opportunities, as I said, new relationships will come through. You will join perhaps a gym or a literary club, and suddenly you will come across people who will show interest in you. People far younger than you, people from the opposite sex, and if you're going to be associating with these people, associate in a group. Do not get into any exclusive arrangement. It could even be a trip to a temple. Try to go along with friends, with elders, with your family members, spouses. It will be far better for you. Next, you'll be presented with opportunities to travel to new and exciting countries and places. If it's not part of your routine, and if it is not work which demands that you go there, try to avoid it. You may be called upon to go on a temple visit to Sri Lanka, or suddenly to Cambodia or to Thailand where visa is not required. And on landing, you may find that you have lost your passport, your wallet. You may have done something which you would not normally do. You may even end up in the prison for some time. Such incarcerations abroad and in India is certainly possible if you do extraordinary things. Also, relationships and events from the past will hark upon you. Old friends, old girlfriends and boyfriends would suddenly visit asking for favors. Please do meet them and do what is required on a humanitarian basis, but while doing so, involve your family and have witnesses. If you were to go to a new place, even in your own city, on some challenging task, take along with you sufficient witness. Let me give you an example. If you are a professor or a teacher, and usually you are very jovial and engaging, please do so in groups. Do not meet a student alone in the staff room or outside this educational premises. You may be accused of things that you have never said or done. Similarly, when you are at home, your domestic help, whether male or female, who have been with you for several years, may suddenly show a different sort of interest in you, or you might say something which you would not usually say, and you could be accused of things that you did not mean. So, particularly with domestic workers, and Saturn shows indicates people who are subordinates to you, slaves and servants. When engaging with them, be very open but honest. Saturn in the 8th house is an indication of association matrimonially with poorer people. So, if you are already a married person, out of kindness, do not extend your hand to people of lower class, lower financial status, and which could be misconstrued as a relationship. Then, coming back to your own domestic relationship, your engagement with the children and with your spouse should be both transparent and honorable. Think twice before what you say. Some of the stuff that you may say or do could have lasting effect, at least will have an effect over the period of 3 years. So it's very important to not rake up old issues, no finger pointing, and in fact control your rage, because on the normal course of the day, anything that you may say could be forgotten, but during this 2.5-3 year period, everything will be noted down and given back to you with great interest. And while in the topic of interest, let's come to finances. The first 1 year you will be given opportunities, as I said, in businesses, but you'll also be given loans from banks easily. Banks, financial institutions, private financiers, friends, your father-in-law, all these people would go out of their way to lend you money to improve your business or to make some purchase. Please don't take it. You will not be able to return the money when it is required. Old loans that you already have should be serviced properly. If even though you're not being able to pay the principal, make sure to be engaged with your lenders. Tell them where you are, what you're doing, your financial status right now, and at least pay part of the interest. It's going to take at least 3 years before you'll be able to clear any of the dues. Credit card, you'll be tempted to use a credit card left, right, and center, and the finances towards that would start hurting. Please remember, there's no easy money during this period. People may tempt you with jewelry, cheap antique jewelry, diamonds, and other precious stones, saying that it was found somewhere. It is going to cause problems. And you'll also be bestowed upon with titles and positions. For example, some madam or some mutt, some ashram might make you a secretary or would bring you onto the board. Even your own apartment might make you a secretary. The first 1 year you'll be able to perform, but the last 1.5 years you will not be able to, and you'll be accused of some wrongdoing. So, any position that may come by your way, please do not take it during this time. Similarly, when you're given some kind of financial responsibility, for example, somebody who's going out of town or country may give jewelry, some money, some documents for safekeeping with you. Please don't take it. Direct them to a good, safe place, some locker. At least during this period, don't own up to such responsibility. You may lose these items which you will not be able to replace at all. Food habits. Try to engage normally as the way you would with food preparation and eating. There's no special caution that's required unless you start experimenting. When it comes to alcohol, it's best to refrain. Saturn does not like alcohol. Saturn does not like non-veg. It doesn't like luxurious living. So this is the time to actually start practicing a certain level of frugality. If you can tone down your drinking habits, that's the best. If you can completely give it up during at least this period, it will be fantastic. Refraining from non-veg on Saturdays is a must. Entirely stopping is great. Why cause pain to another animal, to another living thing, just for the short pleasure? Try to use supplements and good vegetables to for this changeover in diet. You will not face much problems while driving or traveling. I don't foresee any special accidental situations. But while traveling, either while driving on your own or when you're traveling in a train or elsewhere, do not venture forth to help strangers during this time, particularly at night. If there's a damsel in distress, a woman alone, and if you need to help her, take the help of fellow passengers. Better still, alert the police and then proceed to help. So, to quickly recap, I think the time is can be divided into 1 year when certain kind of tempting setups will come, relationships, business opportunities, loans, positions in the society would come. Try to refrain from taking all these things, because the last 1.5 2 years is when you will actually atone or try to extricate yourself from this. For example, you may promise to give a large loan to a relative by pledging one of your properties, thinking it's a short term loan, but it will turn out to be a long term loan. You may have to write off the loan. Similarly, when it comes to relationships, as I said earlier, you may, if you're a man, you may, out of sympathy, take the hand of a woman a widower or a poor person saying that I will help you, and that might blossom initially into a relationship which might seem exciting but will turn out to be something which will be damaging to your existing relationships. So if you need to help, help in a very neutral manner. Similarly, positions in societies, when it comes, please don't take it. Travel, as I said, don't travel to strange places, avoid unnecessary travel to new countries. Definitely don't go on some experimental trip. Avoid drugs, avoid alcohol if possible, non-vegetarian whenever possible, avoid it. Let's talk about pariharas or remedies. What are remedies really? I mean, going every Saturday to the temple, is it going to offset the troubles which come in? Yes and no. If Saturn decides to give you a question paper and the question paper appears to be out of syllabus, well, that's how tough it is going to be. It is possible that Saturn gives you a question paper which is very fair, for which you should have prepared, but since you do not study, you score less. But Saturn would give you these question papers whether you go to the temple or not. But what happens is when you go to the temple, you tend to get a certain positive vibration. You pray not for avoidance of these events, but you pray so that you may be given strength to bear these events and to learn from them. Because after all, life is about learning, and sometimes learning is intense. This 2.5 3 year period is going to be like a military training. In the end of this thing, you're going to be proud of your uniform, you're going to be proud of the strength and the skills that you developed. But during the military training, the commando training, it's going to be very tough. So going to the temple definitely is going to throw positive light on the events. Your faith will increase. Certain practices like long journeys to pilgrimages, taking a dip in some holy sites, all these things would not only strengthen your mind but also take the focus away from other temptations which definitely would be coming during this period. And trips to temples may give you better association than, let's say, trip to a new club. So in that sense, these remedies will help. But also create a mastermind group, a group of advisors, your lawyer, your auditor, astrologers, why not, elders, good friends. These people are going to really be the touchstone for you. The greatest strain during this 2.5 period, particularly during the latter part of this period, is going to be mental strain. There's going to be a kind of loss of judgment. There will be stress, there will be sleepless nights, there will be a lot of waiting for events, there would be regret and remorse. All these kind of emotions would come in. There will be an unknown fear and anxiety, but nothing will happen. It is like waiting for a child who's late from school, and if you are a parent and if the child is late by 45 minutes, there's a lot of anxiety. But once the child comes back home, you're relieved. This period is going to be like that. You'll be waiting, you'll be worried, but eventually nothing bad happens. But during the time, there'll be a sense of dread. So, my friends, this has been a longer video than I thought. I speak from my own experience as well as the experience of many of my friends. Take heart that this is going to be a testing period, but you will come through it as a better person. If you are a tree, it is like a time of storm where unnecessary and weak branches are going to be ripped apart. The tree will survive. Similarly, unnecessary habits and bad relationships, all these things would be removed from you. If you have a bad hobby or a bad habit, most likely during this end of this 2.5 3 year period, you would change it. Unnecessary luxuries won't be with you anymore. Frivolous, thin veneer friendship would all be gone. What will be left with you are deep and enduring habits and friendship. So I hope and wish and pray that you come through this wonderful but testing period as a better person, and with the help of the Lord Almighty. Thank you.